Hey, it's Gail and Jamie from the band Laurel-O-Matic, and this is our podcast, A Different Road.
In this episode, we're going to talk about our song, Sit and See.
So today we're talking about Sit and See, which we released last summer. It's our third single, and Jamie wrote Sit and See, so he's going to walk us through how he wrote it, his process, his inspiration behind it.
It was one of those songs that just kind of came out. I remember coming home from work and sitting down in a chair and just being like, I need to play guitar right now to clear my head.
Yeah.
I need this space creatively. And it's funny, your just hands find the right spot. I mean, you're not talking about anything prolific or anything like that, but you just have a certain space that you found creatively.
Right.
And you feel comfortable. And I just started playing G. I don't know, that's what felt right. And I was just kind of like palm muting it. And the verses came out. It was how I was feeling, how I was processing what was going on. It was written 2 years ago. I just remember feeling overwhelmed. And it was almost, receiving lyrics. It was like receiving lyrics that I was like, just were coming from my emotions at the time. And I just sat down and I started just to sing the melody to it. Like
a stream of consciousness, I guess.
Yeah.
It just flowed out.
Yeah. And sometimes you get that lucky.
Yeah.
Most of the time you don't. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to turn on my recorder. So I got my phone out, started recording it. And the first two verses just came out like that. And I remember sitting there and be like, wow, that's such an amazing, fulfilling feeling to be able to have that connection. I don't know what set me up for that, to be able to do that. Right. But it was just like everything kind of just worked together. Obviously there was tweaking along the way, but essentially it just came out that way. And the inspiration behind it was the frustration of kind of events at the time.
Yeah.
Just a frustration about it. And I being a little bit of a history person, I personified it, or I found the story thinking about Nero playing the fiddle as Rome burned. I know. Doesn't everyone kind of imagine that?
Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Brush your teeth, a little fiddle and Nero. Anyway, so I imagine the story behind that, and just like how it's kind of the song kind of goes back and forth between these two narrations of it, and kind of the overlooking of the world and just saying there's a damning of the world, and I'm worried about it, right? And that's the first person kind of making that statement, and then it shoots to up on top of the mountain, overlooking the city, and just being like, there's a part of me that like to see the drowning of it. Like there's this negative kind of response to it. That's not my usual normal response, but
things have gotten bad and maybe it's time to watch it burn and start fresh.
Right.
It's okay. We all have moments like that,
Yeah. And some songs have that hopeful moment and some songs just have that doubt. And this has that doubt. So there's this worried about it, and then there's a watching it, and then it kind of goes into the chorus and the lyrics of I know I can't believe my lucky stars will save me. There's tough work that needs to be done, that we can't just hope it away, we can't just wish it away. And then there's this comfort, this kind of tongue-in-cheek response of there's something about disbelief, right? There's something about not believing that probably is really nice.
Right.
The comfort of man, there's something about it.
Almost like ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just forgetting, denying it exists.
Yeah. So that's kind of where that call and response came from. And then the second verse is talking about the orange fire horizon, right? Like things are burning on the horizon. Probably came from inspiration of news, right?
Right.
Um,
Sadly, yeah.
and then there's like a certain smell about it, right? About when you're near a forest fire, or like a house is burning, right, in a neighborhood, or you pass by a fire or something, like there's a certain smell about it. And in this case, there's like there's this really negative smell about it. It doesn't sit well. And then it goes back to the person in the first verse that says, there's a part of me like to see the drowning of it. They respond back, truth be told, I didn't do it, but I thought about it, right?
Yep, I love that lyric.
And again, it's this conversation, and then it goes back into the chorus talking about, well, you can't have your lucky stars, you got to work hard, but there's something about this belief that I'd just like to try it. So there's a little bit of negativity behind it and sarcasm behind it, which comes in the spirit of sometimes myself. And then of course it ends kind of this bridge of just sit and see and waste away. If you're just going to sit and see, that's just wasting away. Like it's hard work. Sometimes we need breaks.
Right.
But it's worth the hard work. It's worth trying. So lyrically, that's kind of the inspiration. And it all came from that palm muted G. I wanted a song that was just like not too complicated, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's not verse chorus done, right? So there's like a riff that plays into there.
Right. There's a unique structure to this song. It's two short choruses and a bridge and a repeat of the bridge, right? At the very end, it's a really interesting structure. And two guitar solos in there too. And speaking of the guitar solos and just the, instrumental part of it overall, for someone who didn't write the song, as an outsider looking at it, it's funny how Jamie talking about the kind of negative tone of the lyrics. To me, I don't get that quite. I mean, I can see it, but I also see it as hopeful. And the instrumental part, the guitar part, seems very like chill and laid back to me, and almost sexy. Like there's some sexiness to the guitar solos for sure. And just like I can just picture just kind of sitting on a beach and watching things go down in flames, but there's some hope to like, well, things got bad, so let's just start over again. And the lyric, there's a certain smell about it. To me, I see that as like a metaphor for not actually smelling fire, but just kind of the smell of like things are bad, but they're going to change, they're going to get better. And there's just kind of this like air about that. Yeah. I don't know. That's just how, and as someone who didn't write it, my interpretation of it. But that's what's so freaking cool about music,
Exactly. Yeah. I moved like compositionally wise after I was playing. I was like, man, this just needs organ. Like I was thinking of it as like a funeral song, as things are so bad, right? And I have the organ in there as kind of like that low tone that kind of drives through. And I added a kind of a playful guitar, almost carnival like, boom, da, boom, da, right? And the bass plays along with that. So there's this call and response in the lyrics, but there's also this kind of like off, I guess like this seesaw effect of, right, the organ's on one side and the story of the guitar is another. Right. And then the solo comes around and it stitches it together of just this calm. It's not a fast solo. It's not intense. It's not, driven, overdriven or anything like that. It just kind of flows you through. It's very liquid, right? And it like kind of like moves everything together. So compositionally, it kind of just stemmed out of that. I had been playing around with the G riff of the chorus for a while, trying to find a spot where it could fit. And when I was playing, I was playing along, and I was like, oh, I could really try to put that riff in there, and it adds this nice little end. It's funny to think that there's these like chords to it, but also there's these other little parts to it that play into the story of the construction of the composition.
Right. Yeah, and getting back to that organ part, yeah, so no keys on this one. Jamie wrote and performed the organ part. This was, I'm trying to think, I know you said you wrote it 2 years ago. I don't know if everything came at once, but it was probably at a time where I wasn't really involved in the songwriting process yet. So I was still, and still am, kind of getting my grounds in that area of my footing. But yeah, so maybe we'll play around with that at some point, adding some keys, but the organ is such a cool, special, and like you said, it just really fits well with that play in this song. And then vocally, for me, I should say, this is our first of what we've released so far where I don't have harmony. I'm just singing above Jamie in the chorus, an octave above him. And that's pretty nice for me because I'm a soprano, so it really hits like a sweet spot for me in my range, so that's nice. Usually I'm just, playing around like a third or so above Jamie, so it gets a little low for me at times, so this is really nice. And, when I've sung in choral organizations, I've always been a first soprano, so I've not sung a lot of harmony in my life. So it was nice to, I definitely want to get better at harmony, and I don't have the best ear, so, those are things that I want to strengthen, but it was nice to have this moment of just, singing in the real nice sweet spot of my range and just an octave above Jamie. And then on Just Sit and See, I, again, just kind of this like breathy, echoey part floating above his. So it was nice to have this kind of change for me vocally for this one. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to create this one.
Yeah.
So there's no music video for this one. At the time, I don't know, I guess we just couldn't come up with like a concept that felt right for it. So maybe someday we'll think of something and release a music video, but there is a lyric video available, and we were kind of looking through some different like video footage we have from like traveling and just being at the beach, and there's a couple of things that we played around with. Like there was one where we were hiking and way up on a mountain looking down, which kind of fit well, but I don't know, there's what we ended up with, and you can see it on our YouTube channel, is like a beach scene, the ocean, and like it's not a full-blown is it sunset or sunrise? Sunrise. So it's not a super orange horizon, which is what I was hoping for, but it's, kind of that yellowy orange color. And yeah, I just think it fits like what I was describing, that chill vibe of the lyrics, or more so, I guess, of the instrumental part, but depends how you interpret the lyrics too. So yeah, lyric videos on the YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. And then next week we'll be releasing a living room session of it. So if you'd like to check out that, acoustic version, that'll be on our YouTube channel next Friday. And of course you can find us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, all the places. So we'd really appreciate it if you checked us out, and we will see you again soon. Thanks for being here.